your trusted source for news in western Nebraska and eastern Wyoming. This is KNEB.TV News, presented by Platte Valley Companies, premier provider of financial services.
Hello, I'm Ryan Murphy. This is KNEB.TV News, powered by Platte Valley Companies. Thanks for joining me. In our top story, authorities say one suspect is in custody in Colorado, and at least one more is sought in connection with a strong-arm robbery last week at a bed and breakfast in rural Gering. KNEB News spoke with proprietor Sharon Henderson and was told the incident took place in separate lodge accommodations early that Tuesday, ending with one person injured and keys, wallet, cash, credit cards, and IDs stolen. Henderson said during the course of the incident, two men with masks, gloves, and a firearm forced their way into the occupied lodge rooms, making the guests get on their knees execution style, with one of them being pistol whipped. She says that guest, bleeding from the head and face, was taken to Regional West after law enforcement and EMS arrived, and the other two guests were then allowed to stay in her home the rest of the night. Henderson said after those individuals left, she later discovered money and credit cards missing, with charges racked up on one of the cards in Boulder, Colorado. Scottsbluff County Sheriff Chief Deputy Troy Brown told KNEB News investigators are following up on leads and are being assisted by Colorado law enforcement task forces. Henderson said she believed the incident was not random, but targeted. Well, a roommate who refused to leave his shared apartment is now facing several felony charges in Alliance. Earlier this month, 30-year-old George King was asked by his roommate, a convicted felon, to leave after learning that King had a shotgun in the residence. Alliance police went to King's basement apartment and saw the loaded shotgun on the bed, and when he was being escorted out, a meth pipe fell out of his hoodie and two trunks of suspected meth were found in his boot. King is now facing felony charges, including possession of an exceptionally hazardous drug and possession of a firearm while in commission of a felony 2 drug violation. If convicted on the firearm charge, that would carry a mandatory minimum prison sentence of at least 3 years. He'll be arraigned on the charges in district court on June 12th. We'll have more news right after this.
Looking for free instead of fees? Platte Valley Bank can help you keep your finances moving forward with no ATM fees. Whether you're headed to the lake, the mountains, or just to the grocery store, you can enjoy the freedom of free ATM access anywhere, anytime. Platte Valley Bank. You belong here.
Life Care promises us that we are looked after and taken care of properly.
If I didn't have Life Care, I would be probably scared to death about having enough money for when I got older or when I got sick.
Moving in here was an easy decision and in fact a no-brainer. I looked at it as actually buying long-term care insurance, and in retrospect, a good move.
One of the things that convinces me that we did the right thing is no matter what happens, we will constantly be taken care of.
The whole thing is just vital because you don't have to be worried about what's ahead for you. It's there, it's in black and white, and that's reassuring.
This is home. It has been from the day I moved in.
Last month, we did a follow-up story on the 8 townhomes built on Circle Drive that have been sitting vacant since their October ribbon cutting, and we recently had the opportunity to sit down with the developer, Cliff Mesner, to delve into the issue. He says his company has been doing housing developments across the state for 30 years, and says he's seen similar wait periods for homes to begin selling.
I went for 11 months without having a sale in Aurora, and then had 3 sales in 1 week. And 2 the next week, and now I have 3 of them that are trying to buy units, and they're all sold. And all the other units that we built across the state are all sold, but it all takes a while to get started.
He also noted it costs more for new construction here in the Panhandle than it does in the eastern half of the state.
And I think there's several factors that go into that. One is you don't have as robust housing industry. And I think a lot of that is that you're competing with the Front Range. And your employers out here have to hire people against the Front Range wages, and that's hard to get them hired. The good news is we're extremely happy with the workmanship on the buildings.
Now, the houses are very nice. New construction, new appliances, and an open floor plan. The initial $305,000 price tag did raise a lot of eyebrows for many consumers here in the Valley.
So we try and fall in line with where stuff needs to be. And often, I mean, honestly, the case is that virtually every community we're going to now, the communities are finding some way to buy down the cost, Scottsbluff included, because we have to do that. But we don't want to buy it down any farther than the community has to buy it down.
Mesner also says it's all about finding the right demographic for these homes.
Every unit we sold in Hastings sold to empty nesters or retirees. All the units in Aurora, we've got our first offer the other day from somebody who wasn't an empty nester. And we're out of units. But that's who moves into them. And that really was the target audience, because one of the problems that we have is that we're trying to, we can't build new construction for young families that are starting. They just can't afford it.
Shortly after this meeting, Cliff Mesner, TCD's Jordan Diedrich, and area realtors met and decided to lower the selling price by $20,000, with the units now listed at $285,000.
Welcome to Kelly's Liquor, your liquor cabinet. Whether you're a wine enthusiast, a whiskey sommelier, a tequila connoisseur, or you just love your beer, Kelly's has the best selection of what you're looking for. Family owned and operated since 1946 and right on 27th Street in Scottsbluff. Come see us today at Kelly's Liquor, your liquor cabinet. And remember to be a good neighbor. Don't drink and drive. Kelly's Liquor, West 27th Street in Scottsbluff.
Fly United Airlines, operated by SkyWest with Western Nebraska Regional Airport. United is dedicated to going the extra mile for you with daily flights to and from Denver, along with a commitment to excellent service. Reserve your flight today, and remember, United miles can be earned and redeemed with your flights. While at the airport, stop and enjoy authentic Italian food at Roma Italian Restaurant. Plus, Hertz Thrifty Car Rental is there for your car rental needs. Make life easier, relax, and get on board with Western Nebraska Regional Airport.
Benzel Pest Control has been the Wyoming and Nebraska area's most committed professional pest control company. We have 4 generations and nearly 50 years of experience serving Nebraska, Wyoming, and Colorado, as well as certified entomologists on staff. So whether you're dealing with spiders, wasps, rodents, or any other unwanted visitors, give Benzel Pest Control a call today for an estimate at 888-229-2128 or visit our website at benzelpestcontrol.com.
It's time for Fridays in the Field, brought to you by FNBO, the Great Big Small Bank. Now let's check in on crops in western Nebraska with Bryce Duskett.
Joining us for our In the Field update this week is Andy Groskopf from Scottsbluff, Nebraska. Andy, thank you very much for the time. Let's start here. Tell me a little about your operation.
Thank you. We live 6 miles north of Scottsbluff. We grow corn and dry edible beans. Everything's irrigated. We do have a few acres of dryland corn that we grow as well, too.
Okay, so where are you at? Let's start on the corn side. You got all your corn on the ground at this point?
Yeah, we finished up about a week and a half ago. Pretty lucky to get it in when we did. Unlike the rest of the state, we are pretty dry, and so we could use some rain. I mean, I would say corn is probably 95% planted here in Scottsbluff County.
You say you guys are getting a little dry at this point. Thankfully, you do have a lot of irrigation you can rely on at this point. Is anybody running pivots, Andy, or people just kind of fingers crossed we'll get some moisture?
Yeah, pivots are going here right now. We're on the hay. It's what they call the hay run. I mean, we're on a federal ditch here, so our water comes out of the mountains of Wyoming, down North Platte River, and out channeled out into laterals. And right now, there's a lot of pivots running. Not much gravity irrigation going on now because the crops are too small to ditch so we could really use the rain because we're not all pivot irrigated here.
Mm-hmm. Dry edible beans. Talk to me about that crop and where you sit at the moment.
Oh, we grow Great Northern beans. Next week, we're going to start planting them. They're about a 90-day crop, and they're harvested about the middle of September. So we're going to start on that next week and get them in the ground. Some are going right now, getting planted. So it's a good time of the year to start on those.
Help me out. I'm not super familiar with dry edible beans. What's it like to plant them and harvest it? I guess compare that to soybeans for those in the eastern side of the state.
Totally different crop. A dry bean is, of course, they're not Roundup ready or they don't have no traits to them like that. So we spray a pre-emerge when we till the soil for them, then we plant them, and then we spray them again. I mean, we need a herbicide badly for this crop to continue here. It's just getting tough to grow them because of like Palmer amaranth and weeds that are resistant to herbicides.
Yeah, definitely some key challenges there on that front for you guys. I guess as we're sitting here nearing the month of June, what else is on your mind and I guess your neighbor's mind too for those in the panhandle of Nebraska?
Yeah, everybody here, we keep talking about how dry it is. And of course, the Farm Bill's been on a lot of people's minds, just getting everything in. And just the challenges of a new year is what's on everybody's mind.
Yeah. You're involved with the Nebraska Corn Board. Why did you choose to represent portions of western Nebraska through that position?
I really enjoyed the Corn Board. I've learned a lot of things, got to see a lot of things, and it's really an honor just to step up and represent growers from my district. And I would highly recommend it to anyone to go out and get involved in organizations, whether it be the Corn Board, your local Farm Bureau, or any other commodity organization. Go out and get involved.
Finally, before I let you go, it's kind of that time of the year. We're getting into it. I've got a friend out in the Panhandle. We always talk about it each year. It seems like the big white combine likes to strike areas of the Panhandle more so than other areas of Nebraska. Has that been the case for you in years past?
Oh, in years past, we get hail once every 4 years, it seems like. We're pretty lucky. I have a friend that's north of Minnetonka, and he gets hail out of every 5 years. So, I mean, it just kind of depends where you live. We're prone to get hail here. In fact, my crop insurance agent just called me yesterday and was wondering about hail insurance already. So hail is a problem. We haven't had any yet here.
Fridays in the Field is brought to you by FNBO, the Great Big Small Bank. We'll see you next Friday.
You deserve to have a building that will last for generations. With more than 110 years of experience and thousands of satisfied customers, Morton Buildings is the industry leader you can trust. If you're planning for a garage, farm shop, horse barn, storage building for your RV, boat, or collectibles, there's no better time to buy. Contact your local Morton sales office or visit mortonbuildings.com to get started today.
Let's take a peek at your weekend community calendar brought to you by Riverstone Bank.
The community calendar is brought to you by Riverstone Bank. We're local and we love our community.
What does it take to get beef from our Nebraska ranches to your table? It takes grit, compassion, and constant care that doesn't stop for weekends or holidays. No matter what it takes, we're proud to raise beef that brings more nutrition to every plate and more enjoyment with every bite. From our families to yours. Beef, it's what's for dinner. Brought to you by Nebraska's beef farmers and ranchers.
Tired of feeling stuck? Not sure if you are on the right track? Platte Valley Bank can help keep your finances moving forward with checking account options to fit your lifestyle and an online account chooser to make finding the right account easy. Control your financial future with helpful budgeting tools and automatic savings plans. Now is the time to enjoy the ride with Platte Valley Bank. You belong here.
And finally tonight, Bridgeport's Camp Clark Days is this weekend, and one local bank is relying on some local cooks to make this year's even tastier than ever. The Platte Valley Bank Beef Cook-Off will be held Saturday at the Prairie Winds Community Center. PVC's Louis Colcher says that the public is invited to come on out and try some of the amazing offerings.
Camp Clark Day is going to be a great event, a big community event, and we'd like to think that our cook-off is a big part of it. And we've got 4 categories for people to taste. We've got 2 new categories, including appetizers and a surprise beef category where the cooks won't know what they're going to be cooking until they get there the night before. And then of course we have an open bean, and our premier event is the brisket tasting.
Judging and People's Choice tasting will start at 5 p.m. Saturday. Well, that does it for us this time. Thank you so much for tuning in. Have a great weekend. We'll see you back here on Monday.